Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am PANCZASU and welcome back to Ardent Mages playthrough / tutorial, which I have not forgotten about. However, looking back at it, seeing all the mistakes I made kinda makes me want to shoot myself in the head. Not literally, thankfully, but we are getting there, trust me. There are some cringe-worthy errors I made, and unfortunately I probably taught you about those errors as well. Hopefully not though, because those were actually mostly oversights rather than actual mistakes. So let's spend this episode straightening things up and also establishing a more powerful empire. Alright, so first things first, we know that Mycelas are heading over there. That's fine, let them do whatever they want to do. However, the thing that I didn't do, and like at all, in the science you can see that I didn't have rookery researched at all, which is a vital error, I would say, a fairly big one. I mean, sure, for other mages, rookery may not necessarily be the top priority. There's a lot of other research that they need to finish first in every game before they get rookery. There are the zealots that they need to get as soon as possible. They of course want to have the standard resource generating structures. All in all, there's plenty of things they want to do, and they was probably also trying to rush to Era 2. But with that being said, it doesn't fully excuse me. I should have gone for rookery, and I bet that Malfitzi has suffered significantly for not going for rookery. For those of you who don't remember, rookery gives you access to heroes, and with a Wild Walker's hero, or pretty much many other types of heroes that I cannot check right now, I would have had access to some really nice and very cost-efficient boosters to the overall efficiency of my entire empire. A big mistake I just don't understand how I didn't realize that I didn't get heroes before. It's just blah, below what I can actually comprehend. So this is a big mistake. You can delay rookery with some factions. With some factions you actually don't even ever need to get it, possibly. However, that is not the case with other mages. With other mages you do want the rookery, because the hero that you start with is not necessarily the best governor. Indeed, as you know, I am not using my hero as a governor at all. So with that being said, let's move on to some other issues. So for example, I have cities, well, they are doing alright. Last time I went on a banning spree, but I explained before that this was not optimal choice. I kinda just felt like banning everything, and I am okay with that, in all honesty. And it did save me some happiness as well. I mean, if I had not done that, my Emperor approval status would have been lower. I could have combated it, and still, I believe that not banning those cities would have been a better idea, but I liked the idea of banning them. Now, I do have a minor faction to assimilate, but out of those choices, they are not exactly amazing. However, I have a feeling if I were to choose, I would probably go for the System of Mercy, which I know can be fairly strange to you. It is strange to me as well. However, considering the fact that on our continent there are probably no more things to conquer, because I don't want to be at war with Brokerlords just yet, considering that, I will not need to have many other things. However, I will send my armies far away to the enemy continent, and over there it could be fairly tricky to actually have my units healed up. Then again, I just realized I will gain the healing spell, but not in a... It will take me some time to get the healing spell though. So yeah, I will assimilate the Sisters of Mercy, and once I get somebody better to assimilate, I'll simply kick them out of my empire. Now you have to remember the consequences of doing so. By assimilating them now and kicking them later for exchange for another empire, I'll make it so that Sisters of Mercy will never ever be able to join me again. Which again I'm kind of fine with, because I don't really want them in the long run anyway. Of course, you could also argue that in my current situation it is a better idea to go for Silex, because those resources I can gather and then I can sell on the marketplace, which is indeed a vital... what did I want to say? It is a good point, I'll admit. However, because right now it does look like I'll be fighting on the enemy continent, I believe that in the spur of the moment it is a better choice to actually go for the Sister of Mercy instead of the Silex. However, in the long run it would certainly be a better idea to go for the Silex. Just, you know, making sure that I'm fully clear about what I just did there. Now, other thing, I am at peace with Brokerlords, which is nice and fine and dandy. Let's have a quick look at the units that he's sending my way. Minions and more minions. I don't fully trust those guys, so let's do two things. First things first, I do want to exchange the maps. And let's go ahead and click the offer. It will cost us 30 influence, but we have enough influence to spare. They have accepted it as it looks like, so they see what I see, but I also see what they see. So let's have a quick look at their empire as it is. This is the one region, this is the second region. and they have a bunch of regions over here as well. So it looks like they have 5 regions, one of which is actually an island. This place right here would have been very difficult to conquer if it was guarded by a human player, and it would have been also a nightmare for me in particular, because do you see this tiny island? On this island, if somebody were to try and conquer the city, 2 armies would have to fit. Now, what is the problem with that? Well, it's very simple. If you have a ranged army, like for example I do with the zealots, it would have been crushed because those zealots would have been very close to the enemy lines. So this city is very well defended, and in general cities on islands are generally pretty hard to take over unless you have a very good army of infantry and possibly actually cavalry, but only certain types of cavalry, heavy cavalry in particular. What do I mean heavy by saying heavy cavalry? I mean the kind of cavalry that is considered cavalry, but is focusing on good stats rather than speed and maneuverability. For example, the Roving class dervish would have been pathetic on this island because they wouldn't be able to guide the enemy at all on such a small piece of terrain. Either way, now I see everything that the Broken Lords see, which is good. I like to know what they know. Some regions they have are fairly bad, and I feel sorry for them because those snow regions, they don't have a lot of dust on them at all. Alright, there is that done. I'm glad we got this out of the way, but now the second thing I want to do is go into diplomacy screen again and close my borders. It is a very pricey operation. It will take me 100 influence, and possibly this allow me to go ahead and go for some kind of empire plan in the future. I will however gladly do this. Did it go through? It should have. Yeah, I did close my borders, so now those guys will no longer be able to step in. They are currently in my borders and I'm not able to push them out by just saying, hey, you're not supposed to be here. That's not how war works. However, I'm currently preventing them from maneuvering around here with, let's say, settlers. It would have been nice and dandy, but they can still do this with the use of ships or just walking through Shedan. However, it is a bit more inconvenient for them. Was it worth it for the amount of influence? No. It absolutely wasn't. However, the other thing it does is it makes me a bit more chilled out, because right now by having my borders closed, I make sure that the enemy cannot launch any sneak attacks on my cities, and it would actually be fairly punishing for me if I were to lose Frita. It is a city that I am currently trying to develop. It is not currently fully under my control, but it does have 9 population and it is a promising location. I don't necessarily want to lose it, and by going for close borders I may buy myself one or two turns more time before the enemy can actually go ahead and attack me. It is a small increasement and it is not worth it for 100 turns, I mean for 100 prestige in my mind. However, I wanted to showcase it to you anyway, just so that you know that this is an option, and it's not a very big deal considering the fact that I am gaining 39 influence per turn. Alrighty then, let's go ahead and skip scouting. There are some necrojones to the south, so let's go ahead and discover them already. I'll probably be at war with them anyway. I mean, I have to kill somebody, might as well kill them. My zealots are going to follow my main army through because I do want to actually start working on killing the enemy as soon as possible. Are we ready to end the turn yet? Not quite, there's still something else to do. When you go into marketplace, you can see that I have managed to accumulate a very big stockpile of resources. However, as you know from my Roving class playthroughs, resources can be used in a variety of different ways. And previously I kind of felt sorry for being able to abuse the system, and I didn't abuse it. However, because this is a tutorial, I feel like I should be abusing the system because it's not really abuse, it's how market works. So unless I create an infinite source of dust for myself, which is possible by just selling and buying and selling, buying the same resource and over and over and over again in single player games, I'll not do this and I'll just use the marketplace like I would in a multiplayer game. So yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do. So first things first, what do I want to sell? Glass silk. That's because I have a ton of it, and it increases my defense cap on cities, which is not remotely useful. Yes, it is the only resource I can actually activate, because I do have enough of it to activate the booster cost. However, considering the uselessness of it, I would rather not do this and just sell it. Now, on the marketplace there are only 2 glass silk, which means that there is little glass silk on this entire map. However, this is okay, I'll just simply go ahead and sell it right now. It also means that it is possible that somebody bought it out some time ago. However, considering the low demand, I think it's not the case. Or it's also possible that there was a bug with the loading game. It's also possible. So let's buy all the grass silk to increase the base price for it. And it did increase by a very little amount, but it did increase nevertheless. So now I can go ahead and sell everything I have by just tapping in 32. And also pressing the plus button to make sure that the game realizes this is what I'm going to sell. 321 dust is not a huge deal, but it is a nice deal nevertheless, and I am going to gladly take it. Anything else? Well, there is gold, which I will actually not sell because oh, for crying out loud. I just dropped a needle somewhere on my pants as well, so I'm a little bit... Oh, there we go. I was a little bit worried as well. It's because, you know, needle pants, that doesn't go well together. Don't ask me why I was holding a needle in the first place, I don't know. So anyway, gold I actually want to keep, because minus 50% of dust upkeep on a city is actually fairly substantial late game once your cities grow to a very substantial population amount and you have a lot of improvements, and I'm getting near to this point, so I'm going to keep a hold on this gold. Yes, I'll have to use a lot of it to activate the booster, 35 after I settle on your city, and maybe more after I conquered the necrophager cities, but it is also possible that I'll gain the gold in some other way, so I'll keep a hold on it. I'll also keep a hold of Moonleaf because just on the off chance I can gain more of it. I do want to keep it because it's just so good. I could buy it out, but I couldn't buy out enough of it. I can also buy out the Dust Orchid, and considering the fact that the price will only ever increase, I am very tempted to do so. However, if I go ahead and type in 35, which is what I expect to be the minimal cost, I cannot actually buy it out. As you can see, it costs a substantial amount of dust. However, if I get a bit more dust, I'll be able to buy out 30 of it, which will cost me 750 free dust as of right now, which is manageable during the next few turns because I want to use it before I settle on my next city. Reason for that being is that it will be very effective. However, later in the game I doubt I'll have the money to actually buy it out and activate as well, because keep in mind I'll probably be at war with somebody, and getting those extra cities will increase the cost of Dust Orchid booster, and getting Dust Orchid without having a mine of it is a pain because of how expensive it is. So, if I want to get it, I would want to sell something else. Wine, I want to keep... Actually, before I tell what I want to keep and what I don't, let's have a quick look at what I have. So, look at my regions. I do have not a single luxury whatsoever. Is that really the case? I don't see any luxury sites anywhere. No, and there are Titan Bones. And that's it. Well, I do have Titan Bones, but that's about it. Well, that's good to know at the very least. I can see that I didn't have anything more to begin with, so I guess I don't have to cry for burning down those cities that I used to burn down. So, now that we have this knowledge, we know that I will not be gaining more of those luxuries anytime soon. So what do I want to get rid of? Dyes are okay to get rid of. I mean, I usually don't like to get rid of dyes because they give you a percentage-based bonus, which is really good for big empires, and I am growing a big empire right now. However, at the same time, I doubt I'll have a good use of influence anytime soon, and it is also unlikely that I'll gain enough dye to actually activate this booster. So, standard caveat applies. If I were to sell the dyes as it stands right now, as you can see, I would gain dust 59 extra dust, which is not exactly ideal. However, if I were to buy out, let's say 5 dice, it will cost me 89 dust, which is actually a fairly substantial amount. But even if I were to, let's just buy out 1 for those to showcase this will cost me 17 dust. So if I want to make profit, I want this dust to be good enough. So let's say this is 18 and this is 60 just to round things up. So I forgot what I was trying to do. What was I trying to do? Memory that for me, please. I was trying to do some math. I remember that. I remember the numbers of the math. I don't remember what I was doing. What was I trying to showcase? I mean, I see I am in the marketplace. OMG, my memory is just something so bad. I wanted to prove that I am going to make a profit. Alright, I remember now. So, in order to make a profit, I'll have to sell my dice for more than 78 dust. Alright then, so right now I can sell it for 59. If I were to buy this die, I will be able to sell it for 78. Which, as you can see, is borderline okay because I'm going to gain more than what I had to pay for it. And it is a decent strategy, as you can see, to increase the demand before you sell anything. Even if you have to just buy out one of the things, you're still going to get a better deal slightly. It is right now very small increasement, but it is an increasement nevertheless. And the more stockpile you have of a resource, the better it gets. So let's just go ahead and sell it off to the marketplace. Do you want to sell anything else? Not necessarily. I mean, it is very unlikely that, for example, wine, quicksilver, or moonleaf I'll gain any increasements off. It is very unlikely, I have to admit. However, if I do, they will be fairly... Actually, moonleaf, I mean, quicksilver I can sell. Is there quicksilver? There's no quicksilver, so I'll just go ahead and sell it off as it is. Right now, sell it, yes. And now there's quicksilver on the marketplace, and there wasn't before. That's because I sold it. Now, I have 700 something dust, so I will be able to buy out Dust Orchid on the next turn. Can I buy it out right now? I don't remember how much it costed. I cannot. On next turn, the cost of Dust Orchid will also increase slightly, which will actually be fairly significant considering how much I want to buy it. But it will be still manageable, so I can live with that. Alright. That was a lot of talking for just one turn worth of action, so I'll go ahead and end the turn right now. What I did off camera is a lot of micromanagement on the cities, and I also did retrofit my units ever so slightly. I'll actually show this to you. First things first, level up my hero. So my hero, my dear hero, I do want you to have no idle hands, I think. It's a good thing to have. Extra experience and whatnot. It's useful. So what did I do? Well, with the Inqua Wings, if you remember, in the current save file, I don't know if this is still the case with the tier 3 equipment, but it might be. However, regardless of this, right now in the current save file, tier 3 equipment is bugged. If I had to equip it, it would give me more stats than it should be giving me. So as such, I'm not using this, even though the ability to actually use it is amazing. But because obviously I cannot do this, because this would be unfair, I'm not doing this. However, there is some equipment that is not bugged, and those are the accessories that give you abilities. Because right now the problem with the equipment is that it Fs up your stats. However, the abilities, they are not numbers per se, they just change the way your unit walks sometimes. So for example, I gave this little guy a confidence 2 trinket. It doesn't say that it gives confidence 2, but that's how I got the confidence 2. And this is going to make him more take less damage in a melee combat, which is actually fairly useful because those guys, if you remember, while amazing and good for surgical strikes, they are also relatively squishy. As such, I do want to give them some extra defense. So that's why I gave them this trinket. Now as for the Zealots, I went a step further. Not only did I upgrade them with tier 3 wands, which is very important, but also I did give them this trinket, which gives us improved critical too. Now improved critical increases the percentage of your base critical chance. So if I had to give improved critical to somebody with not a lot of critical, then this would have been an awful trinket. However, right now, it gives us extra 8 critical, which considering the cost of 8 titanium is still pretty bad, I have to admit. However, I have a ton of titanium and no other way to use it because of the fact that other equipment is bugged, so I am fine with using this trinket to increase my critical. Normally it's supposed to be much better because you're supposed to have titanium armor, which also increases your critical, and then this critical would just skyrocket. I mean, it's 81. Of course, it is because of the stats are bugged. It's supposed to be a little bit less, but look, 62 and 81. You can see the appeal of this particular trinket. However, we will not accept those changes because it would be unfair. Also, I think I forgot to upgrade the tier, the iron tier of the Inqua Wings, so I'll do it right now. Make sure they have the tier 3 weapons, because otherwise it would be a little bit dumb of me, wouldn't it? Alright, they are now upgraded. Anything else I need to do? Well, it is a new 10, so yes, there are things I need to do. I'll continue moving this cellar forward, and I'll actually settle a city over here, but not just yet. First things first, I do want to buy out the Dust Orchid and actually go ahead and use it. So with the Dust Orchid, in order to use it right now, I need to have 30 of it. So this will cost me 757.3 dust, I can afford it. I'm going to go ahead and buy it out, and immediately I'm going to use it as well. Activate the pack of resources to gain an empire boost, yes. Now for the next 10 turns, my entire empire gets 25% more of everything and also has 10 more happiness, which is great because it also means that my empire becomes happy, which also gives me even more dust and science booster, which is absolutely amazing. It also means that my cities in general are slightly more happy as well, and as you can see, some of them are even fervent, which will increase their food and industry growth by a ton. And other cities like Freetown and Insam that used to be not happy with me before are now content, so they're not losing anything, which again is a very big deal. Now, what else they have? I have a stockpile of food that I created before. I do want to use it in Towerwell. Reason being Towerwell, I'm pretty sure I wanted to ban it before, but now I'm no longer in my mad banning spree. Now I kinda want to play optimally. So as such, I do want to give it a city. Not only is it in an optimal location, I mean it is on the edge of the continent. It will allow me to ferry my troops across relatively easily, especially once I create a dock somewhere, and so on and so forth. It's a really good city to have. It also has access to Titan Bones, which is invaluable in my eyes, so I would gladly keep this city and use it as my own. However, it does not have a lot of population, and I can help it with that by giving it the empire. By giving it the food booster. So let's go ahead and... which city was it? It was the Tariao. So let's go ahead, activate the booster, bam, and now it's going to grow a new population much faster. It's not amazing, however, it is the tier 1 food booster, and we are making it for industry, so it is still a pretty big increasement the way I see it. Alright, now with having our Empire booster activated, I cancelled our new city because the booster was to work, and I just simply avoided the cost of having the booster, you know, just be more expensive in general. Also, hold on a second. There used to be a ruin over here. I swear there used to be a ruin over here. Just watch the footage before. There used to be a ruin. I swear there was. There was a ruin here. What happened to the ruin? There are other ruins on the map still. What is this thing? It's a hole. Alright, that's scary. I don't know what is happening with this map, but there used to be a ruin over here. Can I walk on this town? No, there is still a ruin, it's just invisible now. Okay, good to know. There are invisible ruins. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and settle this city. And I finished my quest, which is going to give me access to this temple. Which is nice, but it can only be built once in my empire. I'll obviously build it in an area that has a lot of science, but not necessarily in this frozen wasteland. I optimally want to create it in an area that has a lot of one-tile science tiles. Is this my home region? No. Is this region? No. However, this region is no longer occupied. Shame I burned the city down, but whatever. Is this Fritta by any chance? Fritta would be better, but right now it doesn't have enough barrow streets to actually, you know, make it happen, unfortunately. Which is a bit of a bummer. But it would kinda-ish work, I guess. Well, next, this is a region I have, but my city is over here, so it will not benefit me too much. Yeah, I think if I were to create this improvement that I can only be built once in my empire, I would either create it in Fritta because of how much of this forest it has, which gives me a lot of science apparently, or I would make it over here because this region is already going to be my science backwater thingy. And you know what, I might just create it here, why not? Now, can I actually move this population into the city to make it give the city more population? I never have done that. I mean, in Endless Legend, in Endless Space, sure I have, but I have never done this in Endless Legend. So I actually don't know. I don't think it is, however, possible, which is slightly annoying, but it is something that will possibly be added later. Alright, let's keep exploring around the necrophage area. I'm actually going to... I cannot land yet. Alright, so just keep swimming along. And that's some Ramblers they have. That's okay, Ramblers are relatively easy to take out with the use of Zealots. They're not the best to fight against when you have Anchor Wings, but it is still okay. So, yeah, we're discovering a big chunk of the Necrophage Empire. I'm curious to see how powerful they are exactly. However, this will obviously come. Anything else? Well, Danin, it already has 2 population, but that's not enough and is currently rather unhappy, as are probably some other cities in my empire as well. I will need to work on that as quickly as possible. So first things first, I do want it to have more population, otherwise it would actually starve to death. Afterwards, I want to buy out some of the most basic things that I need in every city, and I cannot buy out any of them. Our sewer system has to be fairly prioritized. I mean, more than the Library, but Mill Foundry and Seed Storage are still more important in my eyes. Alright, I'll see if I can somehow make those people will settle in Danin, but it's fairly unlikely. Also, let's just go ahead and rename my cities. Why? Because I did play the multiplayer game recently with the devs, and I have a bit of a message. Medoc, that's the name of the developer, one of the developers we played with. Where's the other city unnamed? There we go. Let's change this name as well. There we go. And now the final change, let's go ahead and go over here. I could write children, but that's not drastic enough, so let's go for pugs. Now, I just have to make Stephanie see this and she will kill Medoc. I can guarantee it is. Medoc eats pugs, that's the summary of Medoc. I'm sorry, I just kind of felt like I had to do this. For those of you interested, we did have this multiplayer game. There is after action report that I posted on the forums, you can read it for hilarity's sake. Basically, Medoc got drunk and bugged the game on purpose. It was hilarious. Anyway, let's understand because we can now do this. Man, it has been 25 minutes of footage and we have progressed, what, 2 turns? But there was a lot of talking to do, and I think that you are here for the talking, you are here for the strategies and whatnot. So I don't feel bad about it, per se. I just hope you're not bored. I really do. I really hope that you're not bored. Either way, my empire is doing okay. There are some unhappy cities, which is a very big problem. Can I activate any more boosters? I kind of want to now, just for the happiness. I'll try and see if I can activate the gold booster, but it is going to be very expensive. Let's have a quick look at the luxuries. Gold. Do we have gold? We don't. Spices. I kind of maybe should have bought them before. That's a problem. I could buy all the blood crystal. Oh wow, look at the amount of the dust cocked. That's radical. Anyway, I could buy all the blood crystal for extra attack, which would be useful in its own right. Especially since I want to fight the necrophages. Basically what I want to do is make sure that the cities I have that are currently unhappy are not actually unhappy, but I'm not sure if I can achieve this without doing some major shenanigans. I cannot buy gold, which is really annoying. Can I actually maybe get gold from the broker lords? I'll see about that. All the necrophages, both of this works. Broker lords, do you have? No, you don't have. You don't have gold. F you. How about the necrophages? Do you have gold? We're not friends, so we cannot trade. Never mind. So, as such, let's have a quick think about this whole situation. Do I care about this happiness so much I want to buy out something at an not optimal price? Possibly, yeah. Fine. Oh, buy 10 blood crystal. Can I afford 10 blood crystal, or do I have to sell something? I have to sell something. Well, I'll sell the glass steel. I'm not using it anyway. Actually, let's not be stupid. Let's buy out some glass steel first. Let's buy out 5 of it for 54 dust. And this, let's have a quick look to prove that it will be alright. I think I can just sell all dust steel I have right now, because it's fine. So as you can see, if I were to sell it right now, that's 340 dust. So in order to make profit, I need to sell everything I have for 390 dust per, more or less. So if I buy this out, like so, then I sell 99. And that's, as you can see, a huge payout. If I were to buy out more glass steel, it would have been actually even better. However, I didn't do so because there are no humans on the marketplace and I also feel kinda guilty. So let's go ahead and sell this for 700 something dust. That's all of my glass steel, and now I have more than enough to actually buy out the 10 blood crystal I need, you know, in order to make my empire happy again. So let's go ahead and do that. Activate the blood crystal. Did I not activate the... I didn't buy it, did I? Alright, let's try it again. 10 blood crystal, please. I want to buy it. There we go, that's better. Now I have the blood crystal and I can actually go ahead and activate it. I need 5 more. And because I didn't buy it in bulk, it's gonna be super expensive now. Holy F my balls. Alright, in this case I'm not going to use the blood crystal. Let's use... Moonleaf? That's gonna be very expensive though. Wine? I have to go for wine now, don't I? Let's have a quick look. Wine. Is there wine and is there enough of it? I cannot believe I balls this up so badly. Yes, there is a lot of it. The price is currently at its minimum, so there is no point in me selling one to lower its price. I'll just buy out the wine. It's really annoying. Alright, 25 wine. How much is that? That is a lot of dust. I'll have to buy it though. I think it is worth to buy it, however, because of how much it will improve my empire productivity in general. As you can see right now, my entire empire is probably further than happy, yeah. And considering the fact that I have activated the Dust Orchid booster as well, this will increase my fits gain in the entire empire by an absolute ton. And I like it for it. Alright, let's actually keep exploring for the time being. There's the enemy city, that's good to know. Let's wind up back north. I do want to explore the coastline of this empire for the time being before I do any radical moves like invade or whatnot. Let's have the other ship come in a bit closer. Can I make those guys be part of this thingy? As in, pretend that they're settled here? I cannot, apparently. Alright, well in this case I'm just going to disband them. Yeah, they'll go to Mercenaries Marketplace. I wonder if any other people would be able to buy my settlers. This would be hilarious. They would still be unable to settle my cities, of course, but still, this would be hilarious. Either way, I doubt anybody has access to units, because keep in mind, we started playing when there were no roving clans in here, and yeah, I doubt anybody else is in Era 3 right now. Alright, heroes are now unlocked for me. They cost an absolute ton of resources because it is really late in the game, but this is just how things go. I waited for too long, and now the cost of those resources is really high. So, what do I want to do? Well, I want to wait until I have enough dust, and then I want to buy them out. Let's end the 10 as well. So, how things are going? They are going okay. Jinsen is growing. All other towns are growing hopefully as well. However, many of them are working on science, which is not necessarily what I want them to be doing. So let's just have a quick look at all of them. So Jinsen, for example, it is working on science big time, and it is giving me the advanced alchemy lab fairly quickly as well. But I do want to work a bit more on population, so as such I'm going to move some of my people on population. A lot of my people on population. Actually all of my people on population. Because here, why not? Maybe not all. I can make it a bit better science-wise, so I can gain still 1 population 110, but I do also gain a considerable amount of science. So let's make it like so. Do the same for Zhengsheng. I mean, I do want to have more food, but at the same time I want to have advanced alchemy lab in 310. So let's keep doing that. Does it help me at all? In fact, it does. Alright, so if I have everything got food, it helps me grow. That's good. In some, same applies to you, dear friend. Will that lower the speed of my research? Yes, so let's make sure that this is not the case. I do want advanced alchemy lab as quickly as possible, so let's keep on moving population. And there we go, 1 person working on food. That's good enough, I guess. I'll obviously continue working on steel houses, which is a really nice thing to do. Is there anything else I want to do? Cargo docks could be okay, because there is the enemy continent next to me. Oh, and possibly an uninhabited island. And what else I can do is actually go ahead and create some extractors, which will be useful because I'll be able to sell those on the marketplace. I can't believe how much I neglected marketplace in this playthrough before. It's very strange. Maybe the Roving class opened my eyes, maybe I didn't want to abuse it, maybe, I don't know what happened. Either way, I didn't use it too much and, well, I'm not changing the way I play, so whatever. Now, I do not necessarily want to create those docks just yet now, but because I do want to first create ball streets on this tile, so I can create docks on this tile, so that it's a bit better. So let's do things like so. Anything else I need to do per se right now? Well, just move my units like so. No battles this video, and this will actually not change because I'll end it relatively quickly. Surprising, isn't it? But I think we did a lot of important things right now, so it's okay. Let's give some food boosted to a place that needs more time for population, like Insam, for example. Yeah, let's get to Insam, select. Now it will actually use this extra percentage-based food growth that I gave it. And I think we are ready to actually end this videocast. Fairly slow, but as I said, important things were done, so I'm happy with how things went. Thank you very much for watching. It was PANCZASU, also known as the Mighty Mix Bomber, and I'll see you online.